What a victory Sunday for the Miami Dolphins. Not only did they beat the Commanders, but some other teams lost. So we're going to look into that and see where they sit in the playoff standings. Let's jump into it. What is up, Fin fans? Deeper dive and playoff update video for you on this glorious Monday. The Kansas City Chiefs have fallen. They have fallen to the Green Bay Packers in Green Bay. I didn't think it was going to happen. I said yesterday, I think I said on Twitter, I said if the Packers beat the Chiefs and if the Bengals beat the Jaguars, the Dolphins will have the number 1 seed. I said unlikely, but hey, what are you going to do? And one of the two happened so far. So in this video, we're going to do a deeper dive. We're going to look at the stats, where the team stands as of right now. Got some quotes from the team from yesterday that I thought were very interesting. And then we are going to jump into the playoff aspect of it and see where the Dolphins sit and how things can fall and affect the Dolphins. I'm not going to do the percentage one anymore because the Dolphins are at 99% making the playoffs, and I think like 98% making winning the division. And then it's like, so it can't get any better, essentially. So we're gonna bypass that. Unless, well, you know what? We'll look at it real quick. We'll look at it real quick. So just so people can be like, hey man, I wanted to see it. So we'll look at it real quick. So let's jump into the statistics. Tua Tagovailoa, after yesterday's game, is sitting at 3,457 passing yards, which is third in the NFL. He has a 70.1 completion percentage, which is tied for second in the NFL. 24 touchdowns, which is tied for second in the NFL. He has 10 interceptions, which is tied for fourth most in the NFL, and 106 passer rating, which is third in the NFL. If you would have told me going into this part of the season, the Dolphins would be sitting there at 9-3 and Tua would have 24 touchdowns and 10 interceptions, I'd take it. That's just me. Tua has thrown a touchdown in 21 straight games. It is the longest active streak right now in the NFL. And in the 32 games Tua Tagovailoa has started for the Miami Dolphins, the Dolphins are 23-9, the best win percentage for a quarterback since November 21st of 2021. But, you know, some people felt that we couldn't win with Tua as our quarterback. Funny how that has changed. Raheem Mostert, 828 yards, is third in the NFL behind CMC and Derrick Henry. 14 touchdowns, though. That's not all purpose. That's just rushing touchdowns. 14 touchdowns. Number 1 in the NFL. Devon Achane, got to throw him back in with his stats. 534 yards. It is super low on the listing. It's like probably in like the 40s, but 7 touchdowns is tied for 6th in the NFL. 9 touchdowns in 69 touches. And then also the 4 games that he played a full game in. So these are touches as in catching and running the ball. Against Denver, he had 22 touches for 233 yards, 4 touchdowns. Buffalo, 11 touches, 120 yards, 2 touchdowns. Giants, 12 touchdowns, 165 yards and touchdown. And then this past yesterday, 20 touches for 103 yards and 2 touchdowns. Raheem, the dream, and Achane, the man. Then we have Tyreek Hill, 1,481 receiving yards, is number 1 in the NFL. He is 519 receiving yards away from the record of 2,000. And 12 touchdowns is number 1 in the NFL. 0 sacks yesterday with no Armstead or Robert Hunt at some point. And the ultra Keon Smith came in, and then Cotton was in, and still 0 touchdowns. Tomorrow's film breakdown will go more into why that is the way that it is. Now, some little notes. The Miami Dolphins are 4-3 in road games this season. It is the 4th time in the past decade that Miami has won at least 4 road games in the season: 2014, 2016, 2020, and 2023. The Miami Dolphins have cured themselves assured themselves of a winning season for the fourth consecutive year from 2020 to 2023. The last time Miami had 4 straight winning seasons was from 97 to 2003 when they had 7 straight winning seasons. The Miami Dolphins have posted 5 winning seasons in Chris Grier's 8 years as general manager, but I feel like some of those years he didn't have much control. This is what I found very interesting. Real quick, we'll go into the defensive side. Christian Wilkins, Sealer, Chubb, and Phillips all have 6.5 sacks. So this defense is starting to eat. Van Ginkel said Fangio pointed out the Washington tackle did the same thing before the swing pass. So when he saw that, he knew that pass was coming for a pick 6. I couldn't believe it. So essentially, Fangio said to Andrew Van Ginkel, called him on the phone and was like, look, when the tackle does this, it's going to be that swing pass to the wide receiver, called it, and that's where the pick 6 came from. Per Mike McDaniel, Teron Armstead was available to return today, but Robert Hunt re-aggravated his hamstring injury, and time will tell what the extent of the aggravation is. So Teron Armstead seemed to have been a rest, whereas Robert Hunt seemed to have tweaked his hamstring. Hopefully he's okay. McDaniel on the AVG pick 6 and how he and Emmanuel Ogbah honored Jalen Phillips with their play on Sunday at Washington. I think they did enough to make Jalen smile. If you didn't know, 1-5, we did 1-5 was what Emmanuel Ogbah did after his sack, which is awesome. You know, doing their thing. Tyreek Hill said his initial thought Tua was wrong on their 60-yard touchdown. He even went back to the sideline and told him he can't throw the ball like that. Tua insisted he put it where it was supposed to be. They watched the tape, and then Tyreek agreed. It's the one where Tyreek looked this way, and then he had to look this way. It wasn't the one where he had, he broke it up the left sideline. It was the right. And essentially, he looked at the film, and he was like, my bad, you're right. You're right on that one. Is that all I got for you guys when it comes to news and notes? I think I'm double checking. I want to give you all the information that I have saved to share with you beautiful human beings. Yes, that is it. So overall, the Miami Dolphins are, we're going to talk about this one. About this one in about 2 seconds. Miami Dolphins had a fantastic day yesterday, and we're going to talk about it. Stop beating around the bush, Doug. And the Miami Dolphins are the number 1 seed as of me recording this video. Tonight, the Jaguars are going to be playing the Cincinnati Bengals. Wins tiebreaker over Baltimore based on best win percentage in conference games. Dolphins are 6-2. The Baltimore Ravens are 6-3. And again, Kansas City lost to the Green Bay Packers, so they are sitting at the number 4 seed, regardless of what happens with the Jacksonville Jaguars. You have the Pittsburgh Steelers at 5, the Browns at 6, and you have the Colts at 7, and then 8, 9 is Houston and Denver, and then you have Buffalo sitting there at 10 with a 6-6 record. I told you guys we'll look at it, and I promise you we will. This is from the New York Times, NFL New York Times. Looking at the percentage, 99% chance to make the playoffs. If they mess that up, I'm going to be beyond pissed off. 98% chance to win the division. Again, if they mess that up, I'm going to be beyond pissed off. Get a first-round bye after Kansas City lost. The Chiefs lost. The Dolphins now have the highest percentage of getting the first-round bye. And that, eliminated. There's another elimination right here, the Panthers. Panthers and the Patriots are eliminated. Because they if they beat the Ravens, it's, seals it, and then the Ravens play the Jaguars, all that stuff. So, and then to make the Super Bowl, the Dolphins and the Ravens are tied. After, again, the Chiefs losing to the Packers, they dropped down to 10%, and we are sitting at 13. So now let's look at what is going on with the playoff seed. So we are right now sitting at the number 1 seed. The Jaguars have to play tonight. If the Jaguars win tonight, we drop down to the number 2 seed. Say the season ended. Say this is week 18 and the season's over and the Jaguars beat the Ravens and this is how it falls. I would not be upset. Now, we don't get a first round bye, which, if you think about it, maybe that's a good thing. You saw how we came out of our bye kind of sluggish. The Dolphins would be facing the Colts in Miami. The Ravens would be facing the Browns in Baltimore, and Kansas City would be facing the Steelers in Kansas City. Then going into, let me see if I can fast forward all the way to the wild card round. So yeah, you got this, right? Say all the home teams win because they're the better teams, right? We'll just do that. Then you got the divisional round. The Ravens would be coming to the Dolphins, and the Chiefs would be going to the Jaguars. And then let's say that these two win, then we would go to Jacksonville. But if the Chiefs win, so again, the number 2 seed, and this is why I'm going that far into it, is because the number 2 seed is still good, because if the number 1 seed loses at any point, then it runs through the Dolphins. But in all honesty, I think that the Jaguars, because again, if the Bengals win, Dolphins stay at the number 1 seed, and the Chiefs go up to number 3. I honestly think that the Cincinnati Bengals are going, the Jaguars, what is going on right now? I think the Jaguars are going to beat the Bengals. I don't think, without Joe Burrow, they're a completely different team, completely collapsed. They're sitting there possibly 5-7. I think that's how it's going to go. Then next week, the Dolphins have the Monday night game against the Tennessee Titans. So looking at it now, so let's say what happens. Again, I said that the Packers are going to lose to the Chiefs. I was wrong. I could be wrong again, and the Dolphins could have the number 1 seed here. Just off the top of my dome, I think they'll win that one. This one's going to be an interesting one. Joe Flacco played really well here, and I like the way their defense is playing. So let's say this happened. Texans take this one. Let's say the Colts take this one. I think the Chiefs are going to be pissed, and they're going to want to take that one back. I think the Broncos take this one. Dolphins take this one. Ravens take this one. And I'm actually going to go with the Raiders there. This is what your seeding would look like if that panned out. But again, if the Jaguars win this game, it just stays the same and nothing changes. Go to the next week. Again, I'm going to do this every Monday for you guys. Dolphins win this one. And at this point, let me just real quick run through it. I think this happens. I think this happens. I don't really like the way the Steelers offense looks. I think this happens. Texans are red hot right now. I think the Ravens beat the Jaguars. Boom. Pop up to the number 1 seed. I think the Chiefs beat them. Browns beat the Bears. Lions beat the Broncos. I think Vikings beat the Bengals. And I think the Cowboys beat the Bills. When you look at it right here, the Bills are sitting at 6-8. Let's just say that the Bills do beat the Cowboys at home. Bills will be sitting at 7-7. The Miami Dolphins will be sitting at 11-3. That one loss in the next 2 weeks. The Dolphins, the worst they could do is 11-6 if they lost the next 3 games, and then the best that the Bills can do is 10-7. There is no possible mathematical way that if the Dolphins win the next 2 games and the Bills lose one of the next 2 games, the Miami Dolphins will clinch the AFC East. So again, it doesn't matter but if they win both of these games, that's where it becomes different, right? So if they win these 2 games, then it's a possibility that week 18 becomes something, because 6 wins and then we have to play 3 more games. So if they lose one, it doesn't matter which one, if they lose one, the Miami Dolphins will have clinched the AFC East. But I honestly think that the Cowboys will beat the Bills. But that's a close one. This one, honestly, here can go either way there. So again, you're looking now going into week 16. The Dolphins have clinched the AFC East in this picture. The Dolphins have the number 1 seed, and they got the Ravens looking behind them. You got Chiefs, Jaguars, Colts, Texans got in there, Steelers, Browns are out. This is where the season starts to get interesting. This is where the crazy games start to come in, because you got the Ravens taking on the 49ers. So if the 49ers beat the Ravens and the Cowboys beat the 49ers, the Dolphins, nothing changes. I think even with the Chiefs win? No, Chiefs win would flop it around. Dolphins would still be the number 2 seed. And even with a Jaguars win, nothing changes. Okay. Is a lot. And I'm going to keep doing these every week for you guys. So let's just take this out of the situation here, because what is important is that following week when we play the Ravens, that might be for the number 1 seed. Because, I don't see besides the Bills game, being the only game they could possibly lose, I don't see the Chiefs losing another game. Because before Burrow got hurt, I could see them losing this game. I don't see it happening now. And then the final week they play the Chargers, they ain't losing that one. They freaking won 6-0 against the Patriots. So again, Miami right now is the number 1 seed. Let me reset this. Miami right now is the number one seed. We still have the Jaguars game to play tonight. Jaguars win, we go down to the number 2 seed. Bengals win, we go to the number 1 seed. And then we go from there. Got to win the next week, Monday night, against the Tennessee Titans, and then beat the Jets, and then have the Bills lose one of the next 2. And the Miami Dolphins clinch the AFC East. 3 weeks left in the season. If you're going to look at me dead in the face and tell me when the season started, if I came to you and said, hey, by week, 15, the Miami Dolphins will have clinched the AFC East, you would be like, I don't believe you. It's such a real possibility. And this is something I've been telling you guys ad nauseum. Change the narrative. Change the same old Dolphins. Change it. You got to win 2 games against 2 bad teams in the Tennessee Titans and the Jets. Win those 2 games, and if the Bills falter to 2 very good teams in the Kansas City Chiefs and the Dallas Cowboys, one of those games they got to lose, the Dolphins clinch the East. It is a very real possibility that going into Christmas Eve, the Miami Dolphins are AFC East champions. Craziness. Absolute craziness. This team is playing out of their mind, playing so different. But again, I'm a Dolphin fan for 30 years, and I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop, and it's scaring the crap out of me. But enjoy it, because we're 9-3 for the first time since 2001. Enjoy it. We are the number 1 team in the AFC right now. Enjoy it. Bengals win. We stay there. If not, the number 2 seed. Either way, I'm a happy camper. I will see you guys tomorrow with the film breakdown, and then 11 o'clock, 11:30 with the recap of the Hard Knocks video. Then Wednesday, we get the picks. Thursday, I'll probably have another video. I got to do power rankings on Tuesday as well. You're going to get 3 videos tomorrow. 3. I might do power rankings Wednesday and do the picks Thursday. Comment below if that works. If you power rankings and picks, I might have to change that up because it's a lot for me to do in one day. Comment below. Let me know what you guys think. I will see you guys tomorrow with minimum of 2 videos. But like usual, stay classy. Offense out.